Today, we're talking about one of the most fascinating and maybe controversial figures in modern politics, a guy whose entire career has been about making kings. So let's kick things off with a huge question. Can one person really change the politics of a country with over 1 billion people? I mean, is that even possible? Well, the story of this man, Prashant Kishor, or PK as he's known, it might just have the answer. All right, so let's get right into it. To really get a grip on who this guy is, you gotta look at how he got into politics in the first place. It's not the usual story. He wasn't some party insider, born into a political family. Nope. He came from a totally different world. And this is what's so wild. His story doesn't start in some political backroom. It starts in Africa, where he was working as a public health expert for the United Nations for 8 years. Then, around 2011, he writes this paper on malnutrition back in India, and he uses the state of Gujarat as a key example. And somehow that paper, it lands right on the desk of the man in charge of Gujarat at the time, a certain Narendra Modi. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. It wasn't some political deal or a family connection. It was a paper on malnutrition that became his golden ticket into the high-stakes world of Indian elections. Modi was apparently so impressed with his new way of thinking that he offered him a job. And just like that, the whole thing kicked off. So, his first big test? It comes almost by accident. See, Modi's main strategist, Amit Shah, was temporarily out of the picture because of a court case. Suddenly, there's this huge power vacuum. And who steps in to fill it? Yep, PK. This is where he starts earning the nickname Modi's lethal weapon. And to really get what a big deal this was, you have to see the difference in their styles. Amit Shah was the classic insider. His power came from the party machine, the grassroots network, the booth management. PK, though, he was the total outsider. He came in with this almost corporate mindset. It was all about data, about branding, about controlling the media narrative. It was like swapping a horse and carriage for a high-performance race car. A completely new game. So what exactly was this new formula? Well, you can break it down. First, they'd crunch a ton of data, analyzing every single constituency to find weak spots and opportunities. Second, based on that data, they'd craft this perfect brand for the leader, like turning Modi into Vikas Purush, the development man. Then came the cool part, using crazy new tech, like 3D holograms to get that message out to millions. And who was running all this? Not the usual party veterans, but a war room full of sharp, young professionals. MBAs, engineers, you name it. And the results? Well, they were nothing short of a political earthquake. In the 2014 national election, the BJP won 282 seats. To put that in perspective, that was the first time any single party had won a clear majority in 30 years. It was a historic, massive win, and PK's team was right at the heart of it, building that Modi brand from the ground up. But here's where the story takes a turn. After pulling off this incredible victory, PK thought he'd be rewarded with a key role, maybe in the Prime Minister's office. But it didn't happen. With Amit Shah back in the picture as the powerful BJP president, PK was pushed to the side. The party establishment basically treated him like a consultant whose contract was up. And that rejection, it's what set the stage for everything that came next. So put yourself in his shoes. The party you just helped win a historic election basically tells you, thanks, but we're good now. What do? Well, if you're Prashant Kishor, you don't just go home. You go and start working for their biggest enemies. And he didn't just work for them. He went on an absolute tear, delivering a string of stunning victories against the very party he had just helped. First, in 2015, he helps Nitish Kumar and Bihar. He brilliantly took a stray comment PM Modi made about Bihari DNA and turned it into this massive campaign about state pride. Then, he delivered a huge win for the Congress party in Punjab. And then he engineered a complete landslide for Jagan Reddy in Andhra Pradesh. It was an incredible run. And a huge part of his playbook was creating these incredibly catchy, really powerful slogans that just stuck in your head. In Bihar, you had Bihar is in full bloom with Nitish Kumar. For Delhi's chief minister, 5 good years have passed, keep going Kejriwal. In West Bengal, the really emotional Bengal wants its own daughter. And the super simple but brutal Bye Bye Babu in Andhra Pradesh. These weren't just slogans, they were weapons. They became the anthems for these winning campaigns and completely defined the conversation. So he basically productized his method. He created I-PAC, the Indian Political Action Committee. This was a game changer. It was India's first big-time political consulting firm. Suddenly, this wasn't just about one brilliant guy anymore. It was a full-blown professional organization that any political party with enough money could hire to run their campaign. He literally created an entire industry from scratch. Okay, so by this point, PK has this aura of invincibility, right? The man with the Midas touch. But you know what they say, pride comes before a fall. And just when he seemed unstoppable, he was about to face his first, very public, and very, very big failure. We're talking about the 2017 Uttar Pradesh election, and bloodbath is probably the right word for it. Look at these numbers. The BJP and its allies just bulldozed their way to 325 seats. The alliance PK was working for, the SP and Congress, they got crushed, ending up with just 54. It was an absolute, undeniable disaster. So what happened? How did the magic fail? Well, it seems the PK formula has one crucial requirement. The client has to actually listen to him. In UP, he was constantly clashing with the old-school leaders in the Congress party. His strategy got leaked, his advice was ignored, and this messy, last-minute alliance just threw the whole campaign into chaos. And to his credit, he owned it. In a pretty rare moment of public honesty for someone in his position, he basically said, "Yeah, I messed up. I thought I had more freedom to operate, and I totally misread the internal politics of the party." It was a tough lesson, right? A genius strategy means nothing if the person you're working for won't execute it. But look, the story is far from over. After that huge failure in UP, PK didn't just disappear. He came roaring back, but it feels like something shifted in him. A new question started to bubble up. Is it enough to just be the kingmaker? And did he ever bounce back? After that UP disaster, IPAC went on another insane winning streak. They won big in Andhra Pradesh in 2019, they won in Delhi in 2020, and they scored 2 massive victories in 2021 in West Bengal and Tamil Nadu. He basically proved to everyone that UP was the exception, not the new rule. The magic was still there. And then, something nobody saw coming. In 2021, right after masterminding this epic, hard-fought victory against the BJP in West Bengal, a huge win, he drops a bomb. He announces he's quitting. He's done with being a political strategist. Just like that. At the absolute height of his power and influence, he just walked away. So what's next? Well, he decided to stop being the guy behind the curtain and step into the spotlight. He went back to his home state of Bihar and started a new movement called Jan Swaraj, which translates to good governance. And he kicked it off by literally walking across the entire state, a 3,500-kilometer journey on foot to talk to people directly. The end goal? To turn this grassroots movement into a real political party that can actually contest elections. But making that jump from strategist to actual politician, it's been tough, really tough. When his new party faced its very first test in a few local by-elections, the results were not good. They lost every single seat. In fact, in a couple of them, they lost so badly that their candidates didn't even get enough votes to get their security deposit back. That's a huge blow. And this really gets to the heart of his current problem, doesn't it? He is, without a doubt, a genius political strategist. One of the best, maybe ever. But being a great coach and being a star player are two completely different things. Running a campaign from a war room is not the same as being the face on the poster, trying to win people's trust and their votes. So that brings us full circle. There's no question that Prashant Kishor has fundamentally changed how politics is done in India. He's made chief ministers, he's made a prime minister, he's a master kingmaker.